What's going on, guys? My name is Jake and this is your Bodycom prescription, and today we're talking about protein. A few days ago I had someone reach out to me mentioning that they were struggling with their protein intake and they were trying to maintain their calorie deficit, but then they ran out of calories at the end of the day and couldn't hit their protein. There's actually a lot of people out there who struggle with a very similar issue, so I thought that making a video about how to overcome a low protein intake would be good for everybody. So in this video I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to hit your daily protein intake while managing to stay under on your calorie deficit. Most of the time when we run out of calories at the end of the day, but we're still low on our protein intake, it's because we overconsumed our calories from either our fats or our carbs. And just a quick tip, if you're going over on your carb intake, but you're short on your protein intake, the calories from carbs and protein are the exact same. So all you need to do is substitute the amount of grams of carbs for however many grams of protein that you're short for each day. An easy way to avoid going over on your calories with fats and carbs is to identify what your macros are within your calorie deficit. And then you evenly divide those macros by the amount of meals that you want to eat each day. So if you want to eat 4 meals per day, you would take your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, and you would divide each of those by 4. And then that'll give you the macronutrients for each of your 4 meals. And after that, it essentially becomes a fill-in-the-blank problem. You just need to figure out the things that you like eating that adhere to your macros for each meal. This will help you avoid neglecting any one macronutrient in particular. And if you're not a fan of that approach, I would strongly recommend using something that tracks your calories and your macros, like MyFitnessPal, or something that's equivalent to MyFitnessPal. This will allow you to break down what you eat meal by meal and see where you're falling short with your macronutrients. This also allows you to fill in the blank a little bit more freely because you can eat your macros in whatever portions you want, instead of evenly breaking them up throughout the day. If you can plan out your meals ahead of time, this will easily alleviate the issue of running out of calories at the end of the day. But the beauty of this approach is that you don't necessarily need to eat the same thing every single day. Feel free to mix it up, switch around your meals, and as long as you're hitting your macros and maintaining your calorie deficit, you'll continue to lose weight. But if you're serious about losing weight and you keep running into the same problem, you need to be more on top of hitting these numbers. It won't be the end of the world if you don't hit your protein every once in a while, but remember, the way you look at the end of your diet is a direct reflection of what you were eating. Now, we all know that in order to have a significant impact on changing your body composition, we need to be consuming enough protein. And protein has tons of benefits towards weight loss, because protein contributes to muscle growth, which will then help you boost your metabolism, and protein has a higher thermic effect, which means you burn more calories trying to digest protein versus carbs and fat. Plus, it's very satiating, so it'll help you stay full and avoid overeating. And without getting too deep into the math, I generally recommend eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You can choose to do a little more, a little less, but if you want to get a quick estimate of what your daily protein intake should look like, all you got to do is take your body weight and multiply that by 1. And for most of us, the protein number that we get may be a lot higher than what we're normally used to consuming throughout the day. But we know that keeping our protein intake high during a calorie deficit is super important when we're trying to achieve that lean, toned look that we're all after. So now let me give you guys some tips on how to achieve your daily protein intake just a little bit easier. If you're running out of calories at the end of the day for protein, you should start eating your protein a lot earlier in the day. Having a high protein breakfast is a great way to knock out a good chunk of your daily protein intake early in the day. Things like eggs, egg whites, Greek yogurt, turkey bacon, and lean deli meats can all help you pack a lot more protein into your breakfast. Egg whites are almost essentially liquid protein, so add a few egg whites to your morning scramble alongside some deli meat or some turkey bacon and you're golden. I've even drank liquid egg whites out of the carton before. I've used them as the liquid for my protein shakes. I don't really recommend doing either of those things, but I highly do recommend that you keep a carton of egg whites in your fridge if you don't already. And if you want something more sweet, you can do something like protein oats. You can even add protein to your morning coffee, or you can even just slam down a protein shake by itself. And as for the rest of your meals, I recommend sticking to the leaner meats so that way you can minimize the amount of fat content that they have, like chicken, turkey, lean ground beef, or lean pork. And one of the most underrated sources of protein, in my opinion, is shrimp. Shrimp is super low on fat and super high in protein. It is a little bit more pricey, but not any more expensive than a steak would be, or even some bougie chicken. And if you already eat these things and still fall short on your protein intake, it's probably because you're not eating enough. If you're only eating between 2 and 3 ounces of your preferred protein per meal, you're leaving a lot of progress on the table. Pun intended. You may need to up that to 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 ounces per meal depending on what your daily protein intake looks like. Now, if you only fall a few grams short of your protein every single day, your fix could be as simple as just adding an extra protein shake or a protein bar. Definitely make sure that you have a couple different kinds of protein powder in your cabinet so that way you can mix it up. Or if you have a protein powder that you're absolutely in love with, just make sure that you always have it in stock. I personally like Dymatize ISO 100. They have a ton of great flavors and the macros are great. But I have been using MyProtein Clear Whey Isolate as well. The Clear Whey Isolate is great to have alongside meals because it's a lot lighter than a normal protein powder is, and it basically just tastes like juice. Neither of the things that I use are sponsored, so I apologize for not having a discount code. Those are just what I like to use and what I spend my hard-earned money on. But let me know what protein you guys use down in the comments. Lastly, get creative. I've seen tons of recipes for protein brownies, protein cookies, protein French toast, protein waffles, protein pancakes, you name it. Just look around a little bit. I'm sure you'll find some high protein options that speak to you and sound good to you. And then you can always incorporate those into your diet as well. And remember, protein is super important, so make sure you're getting it in early and you're hitting your daily protein intake. And if you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. We're almost at 50 subscribers and that would be super awesome to hit. I just want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.